Hey there, welcome back to the vlog. I'm just heading over to the park now with the Phantom 4 and a set of new natural density filters that I'm going to try out and show you guys what the difference between them is. So just wandering along today, and I've got my beautiful assistant with me.
Hey guys!
Axel had a really good question before about neutral density filters.
What's natural density?
Not much of a... anyway, so neutral density filter, for those of you who don't know, is basically like putting sunglasses in front of the lens of your camera.
Sunglasses into the camera.
In fact, a shoot that I was on about 6 months ago, we did exactly that. We didn't have any ND filters with us, so the DP got his sunglasses out and we put them in front of the camera. I don't recommend doing that because the actual sunglasses tend to be quite reflective on the inside and you just end up with image bouncing. So that didn't work so well, but it was the right idea. Now, when you buy neutral density filters, they come in different grades, usually from 2 through to 64 or 128. You can actually get really dark neutral density filters, and what they do is they reduce the dynamic range between the highlights, like up here where we've got the sun blowing out, and into the deep shadows of the trees there. So we're going to take the drone here down somewhere nice and picturesque where it's going to be fairly high contrast for us, and have a look and see what effect the neutral density filters have on the resulting footage. Okay, so here's the spot I was wanting to film in, where we've got a really good mixture of contrast and textures and colour and different bits of pieces to make it a more interesting bit of footage. So I'm going to set the drone up now, get it up into the air. First one I'm going to do is without the filter on at all, and then I'm going to try and repeat the same shot as close as I can with the ND2, the ND4, ND8 and an ND16, and we'll see how they come out. Okay, so that was a quick shot, pretty good. It was good high contrast in this. Now I'm just putting the ND2 filter on. You can see it's just a little bit darker, and that just slips quite nicely over the top there. Hopefully it won't come off and like die badly anywhere. Try not to leave big fingerprint marks all over it. Right, and I'll take that off and have a go at this one and compare them. Let's have a go. Start recording, take off. We're flying it pretty much directly into the sun. I do have the camera panned down a wee bit, so it's not facing directly into the light, but we should be getting some very good contrast levels out of it. Okay, now I'll put the ND4 filter on. Now the number on ND filters isn't just a guess, it's the number of stops that it should be reducing the amount of light by. So by putting this next one on, I'll be taking 4 stops of light out of the camera, and so the camera will drop the frame rate to compensate. And what we should be doing is each time is getting a more and more neutral dynamic range, so the highlights will be brought down and the blacks should be brought up a bit. And what that means is that when you go and correct the footage later, you'll get much more detail and you'll get less of the blacks crushing out and the highlights washing out. So yeah, as you can see, these are completely brand new because they're still in their packets. Nice crisp crunchy packaging. And that one's actually a CPL. It's not the one I'm after. That's the UV. Now that one is an ND4. So once again, I'll just slip that firmly on over there and we'll take off again. That shot was slightly off on angle from the previous ones, but that's alright. Still getting the same overall picture, so you'll be able to see the effect of the filters, which is good. I might do that one more time just because I can. That's one interesting idiosyncrasy of the Phantom 4, is that if it starts getting above water or anything, the sonar has trouble detecting its height, and it can either go up or down in a real hurry, so you really do need to be careful with the Phantom over water, especially calm water. That was a much better shot, we'll keep that one. Bring it back and we'll put the ND8 on it. That's our pros landed drone, by the way. So that's the ND4 coming off, and the ND8 going on. These seem to sit quite nicely and firmly over the lens. You can see it there. differentiation between day and night only matters if you sleep at all.
Well, yeah, sure.
When you're filming, especially on something like a GoPro, or any filming you're doing, you've got to catch sort of 5-10 seconds before and 5 or 10 seconds after your footage, because you might not want to show that, but you might need it for a transition, or you might need to extend a clip by a few frames either way to make something else work. It could be a pace thing, it could be cutting it to music, and if you don't have that header and trailer on your footage, even if you don't intend to use it at the time, you're going to kick yourself eventually later. And for a couple of seconds extra footage captured before and after, you'll definitely be glad you did one day. Pro filming tip there. The other pro filming tip is always being bloody insect repellent when you're shooting outdoors. Okay, so I've now put the ND16 filter on it, so that is dropping it by 16 stops. Just as an indicator, that's now shooting at shutter interval of 100 and an ISO of 200, so very fast. It's going to be reasonably dark footage, but it'll have enough detail in there that I'll be able to bring it up a bit. ND16 might be a little bit too much for here and now, but that's what we want to see, is right across that whole range what the difference is. Okay, let's take that one off and
So tell me, what's all the beeping when it comes close?
it's the DJI Phantom 4 and everything after it have these extra cameras on them and around them. So under there we've got 2 cameras and sonar. We've got 2 extra cameras in the front, and it uses that for obstacle avoidance, which would have been really good for the Phantom 2 when a friend of mine crashed it into a tree first time we got it, and yeah. That's alright, we fixed it. I crashed this one as well. The newer Phantoms have got side cameras, back facing cameras, basically all around, so you know, as the new versions come out they're getting smarter and smarter, so always put your lens protector on it. And if you crash it, you really should replace the legs, which I didn't. I've just taped them up. I need to get some new legs for this one. The legs on them contain all of the GPS aerial and things like that as well, so there's wire going all the way through them, so you need to be bloody careful. Luckily I didn't break any of the wire when I crashed this. I did have to replace the camera, and that wasn't cheap. Anyway, so that's our flight with the ND2, the ND4, the ND8 and the ND16 neutral density filters. We'll head back now, capture all of this, and have a look and see how they compare.
And I've been Tim's video assistant today. You can check out my latest video at Percy's Scenic Reserve right after you finish with Tim's video.
Yeah. And watched all of my other playlists. Just leave them running in the background, open his up in a new window.
And then when you finish watching my latest video, have mine running in the background on silent too. You'll be helping us both out. And Tim?
And that's when you can go and watch Annalise's videos, while ours are both running again in repeat in the background. You think they've got the idea? Oh,
I just clicked.
Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, click the notify bell on all of them as well.
Oh yeah, every single video. So that's 3 channels. Can we add any more to confuse them?
Yeah, Shane's got a channel, we'll put that, that's a link up above me here as well. Might as well. Oh, and go to Facebook and look at the Wellington YouTubers page. And if you're a YouTuber, put your name in it. I think that's probably about it. Yeah.
I can cut now?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to wind this up by having a quick look through these different clips and comparing them. Obviously you can see the ND8 and the ND16 are way too dark, though they do a really good job of showing a lot more detail in the cloud in the background. There is quite a bit of discoloration towards the blue as you get darker into the ND filters, so obviously you do need to be really careful when you use them. I will say though, there is one thing: I didn't set the camera on the P4 to shoot in log mode, so this isn't a particularly great test of these ND filters. I will go out and do something better and set the camera up more when I've got more time, and also I'm going to do something with the GoPro as well, because as you can tell right through this, the color reproduction on that was not fantastic today, and that's largely because I didn't have a UV filter on. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the like button and the notify, and you can click on Axel's last video just here and also my last video. Okay, have a good evening and I will see you tomorrow.